Good morning. How are we doing this morning? Another beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest here. Just another one of those videos and, things I've been thinking about as I've gotten older. Things I wish I would have done differently back, when I was 20s, 30s. It's like, 54 years old and it snuck up on me like super fast, like 54. Wow. But, there's those things that you kind of wish you did different. And I, feel like I need to say something. Maybe it'll help somebody somewhere. But one of the biggest problems that I've had, is with debts and finances. Never really taught much about debt, finances. I kind of saw what, having debt would do. Living through that, but like it didn't change my mind on it. I don't know. But I just remember parents like not doing super hot with money. Um, Growing up in school, they don't teach you about that stuff. If there was, I get something on my arm here. If there was one thing that we should be adding into school curriculum is like finances and debt and understanding how that kind of stuff works. And makes me sad to see people sitting out there right now that are 20, 22 years old, and they're saddled with these student loans. It's like we've sold them this bill of goods that, like, that's the only way to get ahead is to take on debt. And I heard something the other day in one of my scroll sessions in Instagram. It was like, it's funny how, like, people, banks and stuff won't approve 18-year-olds, hundreds of thousands of dollars for a house or a car or something. I mean, it's gotten a little bit less strict these days, but still, what 18-year-old's going to be able to go out and buy a $750,000 house? The bank's not going to let them do it. But yet we have these financial institutions that will just hand over hundreds of thousands of dollars to 18-year-olds to go get a degree. They're not making like new, what they are making is new workers, people that are going to just work because they have to work all their life. They have to work because they have this debt. That's what they're saddled with forever. And it sucks. And I remember when I was 18, got a 18, 19, 20, I got an Amoco card because I had to establish debt or establish my credit and start getting stuff going for credit. I got this Amoco card and it was, ooh, yeah, I can go get gas anytime I want. I can go get, snacks anytime I want. I remember that first month, I think I put like $300 or $500 on it. It was like, oh yeah, I gotta pay like $10 a month, and I could just get all the stuff I want. That was until the first month came along, the first bill. And I guess I didn't realize they wanted the whole thing. They wanted all $500 or $300, whatever it was, all at one time. That was a rude awakening. But did I learn? Nah. Got another card. I think I got another card and paid that card off. And then I got another card for like Kohl's or something, some kind of department store. So ever since I can remember, I've had debt. We had debt when we got married. I remember running up like $45,000 in debt. Just, I don't know, just stuff. And it sucked. And then we found Dave Ramsey, started working that, paid that off. I think it took 2 years, paid that off. And then we were debt-free, for consumer debt-free. All we had was the mortgage, and ooh, it was going to be awesome. You're going to get, saved up money. And for whatever reason, some emergency came along right after we paid off the debt and ended up back in debt. It stayed in debt for, another 6, 7, 8 years until we sold the house. Which, having debt prevented me from, Mia's down there, prevented me from, working on the house and upgrading the house and fixing the house and keeping up with the upgrades. So then when we sold the house, we couldn't sell the house for as much because we didn't keep up with the maintenance and upgrades because we had debt. And we sold the house, and then I think we paid off most of it. The debts we had run up, I think we ran it up again, another $20,000, $30,000. Just on what? I don't know. Paid it down because we sold the house, from the proceeds and whatnot, and moved out here to the Pacific Northwest and going along all right. And then things just happened. We ended up in debt again. I know that part of the debt was stuff from buying the house, but it was over $26,000 as of October of 25. And as of today, we have zero. July of 26. So we paid off $26,000 in over 10 months. Or just about 10 months, I think it is. 9 or 10 months. It feels good, and I feel like we're in a spot where now I can get some money, saved up for an emergency fund, so I don't have to put emergencies on credit cards all the time. That's the big key. But I got to do a better job budgeting. Because if I don't know where my money's going, how am I going to tell it what to do? But got to get that budgeting going, got to get that emergency fund going, and I wish I would have, invested in things back in my 20s. All the opportunities I missed because we didn't have the cash, because we were in debt. I've seen the rise of, Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. Missed all those opportunities to get in just because we couldn't buy in the stock market, because we had debt. But it is doable. It is not easy work to get out of debt. And yes, your $5, $6, $7, $8 lattes play a lot into that if you're buying those on a daily basis. If you buy 2 lattes a day, and they're $5 a day, that's $10 a day, that's $70 a week times 52 weeks. You're looking at $3,500. And if you buy lunch at work and you're spending 20 something bucks a day, if you were able to save $27 a day, I think is what the number is, 27, 28 bucks a day. That's $10,000 in savings in a year. But all those opportunities, the lack of retirement investment that, I did, got into that, through work for like 5-6 years ago now, and there's some money there, but not a lot, not what there should have been, and it was all caused by debt. It was all caused by my lack of self-control. Turned into Farouk assault. I want it, and I want it now, and I don't care how. But we need to better educate. We need to better educate our 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds while they're in school. Instead of studying all these goofy things that we got going on now, let's talk about personal finance. Go out, get a job in the trades where they'll pay you to learn the skill. That might be a discussion for another day. But that's my thing for today, is just don't go into debt. Stay out of debt. If you use credit cards, just use them wisely and pay them off every month. Time to return back to my walk with Mia. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. Have a good one. Later.